Welcome back to another episode of Dex or Donia Sports. My bad, I still need to get used to the name. Donia Sports. We are going to do the NFL playoff predictions for the whole rounds, first round, and then our predictions who we pick to go to the Super Bowl, who's going to represent the AFC and NFC, and who's going to hold the Lombardi Trophy. So let's start with today's games, today's games pretty much. Carolina or tomorrow's games. I don't know. We'll see who we post this, but Carolina versus Los Angeles at 3:30, and you got Chicago versus Green Bay. Ty, coming in this game, you already seen Carolina earlier this year and their offense of against Seattle this year. You've been there, so what are your thoughts about heading in this game? It's a rematch too of earlier this year.
Yeah, the thing about this game is if Carolina didn't beat the Rams later into the season, a lot of people would push this game to the side, but this Rams team was just pummeled by Carolina basically on defense, I'd say. Matthew Stafford had what, 3 or 4 turnovers that game? Kind of almost threw himself. Yeah, he kind of almost threw himself into that MVP race. The Rams can't really overlook Carolina, even though it is a struggling Carolina Panthers team who's trying to get or used to their identity right now, especially with Bryce Young being on and off some games. And I really like the Rams this game because obviously I feel like they get their get back, especially in Carolina too. And I think Rob Hunt might be questionable for this game. So if he's out, that's a key piece on their O-line that Carolina can't really afford to lose in a game like this. So yeah, give me the Rams in this one.
You're going to say the Rams in this game. Okay. I'm going to take the 8-9 Panthers, shocking the world. I think they are still pissed off how they played in that Buccaneers game, and they still almost won that game against the Buccaneers. The thing about the Panthers, they depend so much on the run game. They depend. If the run game is not there, they suck. Let me look at the stats earlier in their earlier matchup. It could pop up because I do want to see the stats, how the running stats were against Carolina. Because that game was a shootout. That was a phenomenal game. Came down the wire. T-Mac got the game-winning touchdown. Bryce Young, all that. Derek Brown had a strip sack. I mean, that game was a crazy event, of anything, in that game, if I remember.
Yeah, I think that's how it went down. I remember the Derek Thomas forced fumble or the fumble recovery. That kind of put the nail in the coffin. I think it was Jalen Coker for that first down too, in that third. I don't know if it's third and long or third and short.
Yeah. And, okay, looking at the stats in this game, I mean, you look at the stats pretty much. So with these individuals, I mean, let me see. I mean, yards-wise, total yards were very similar, if anything. Very, very similar. Yeah, literally similar. I think the biggest concern was time possession. That was the thing. Yeah, time possession. Yeah, Carolina had more time possession, if anything, and the 3 turnovers too. If you're going to win a game, if you're going to force 3 turnovers, you're going to win the game pretty much. So, can we expect Carolina to force 3 turnovers? Maybe. I think this game. I mean, it's the first game in Carolina since 2015 to have a playoff game, since Cam Newton went to NFC Championship, beat Arizona Cardinals to go to the Super Bowl. It's the first time. And Cam Newton's going to be at this game, hitting the keep pounding, the little drum thing. So I can't wait to see that. And this is Cam Newton's first time being back in the stadium since he played in a game for them. So he has not been in that stadium. And I think that stadium's going to be rocking. You experienced that with the Carolina game. You already been to it. I mean, was that stadium rocking earlier this year when they played Seattle?
Yeah, middle of that game. Especially when the game was tight, it was pretty loud, I can't lie.
I mean, and it's been that forever. Because the thing about Charlotte, dude, is you have 2 cities, you have 2 states combined, pretty much. You have South Carolina and North Carolina all coming together and supporting one organization, pretty much. And this team, Carolina, I think this is going to be led by the town or the city, pretty much. And I think Carolina's going to build a momentum in this game. The really thing is my key factors. Can Bryce Young put the ball where he needs to be? If can T-Mac and him build a connection they've been doing every single game this year pretty much so far? Because coming to the playoffs, it matters who's the hottest team right now. The Rams, they're not hot right now. They're low. Same with Carolina. They're low. Both these teams are trying to build to try to get that one step heading to the next round. And I think Carolina's going to somehow pull the upset in this game as an 8-9 team. It'll be the first time since a losing record team since them when they went 7-8-1 when they beat the Arizona Cardinals. In 2013, I'm correct.
Yeah, I think it was 2013. That's an interesting take. I don't know. I just feel like the Rams, I
I
kind of like you said you were talking about the Bucks being or the Panthers being mad about that Bucks game, but I feel like the Rams are kind of mad they missed out on the
one seed.
kind
I
of
know.
the first round bye, and
Mhm.
I feel like that was more needed for the Rams. You get an easier team to play in the wild card
Uh-huh.
division winner, but I mean they're 8-9, so you got to take that into factor. And when you're playing them, like looking for that momentum, I feel like this is a perfect game for the Rams to kind of find themselves again.
I mean, how I compare this Rams team, kind of like the Bucks in 2020. Kind of that Bucks 2020 team. They lost
Mm,
games they should have won. Tom Brady, they look phenomenal. They lost to opponents they shouldn't. Like I remember they lost to Nick Foles in Chicago, and what other game? They got swept by the Saints in that year
yep.
too. Um, they beat the Falcons already twice. Did they lose to the Panthers? I'm trying to remember who else did they lose to that year
I
because they
think
went.
they swept the Panthers, but they had that really ugly loss. I think it was like 35-0 to the
Oh,
Saints.
yeah, the Saints, the week one, and then the 9-0 game. Because, I mean, they went 11-5. They went 11-5 that year. But that's how I compare them because they have the star power weapons. You have a veteran quarterback who's won a Super Bowl already. You have a young defense with that combination, too. Because at that time, that Bucks defense was so young. That's the type of team this gives me vibes with the Rams. Can they, if they somehow win this game against Carolina and they have a chance to play Seattle in the first round, I think that's a bad matchup for Seattle. I don't think how Seattle's going to perform. And of course, we got to see how the playoffs work in that or other predictions. But if they play either Seattle or Chicago, I don't like the Chicago matchup for them. I do not like that matchup for Chicago. But I think Seattle, I think they can get their get back and they have a chance to go host a playoff game in the NFC Championship, maybe. But barring that, I will still take my Panthers, and I think the Panthers are going to somehow pull the upset with because of that J Lo Ohio State conspiracy theory of when that all happens and the Panthers play the Jags week 1, they go to the Super Bowl somehow every single time. So we will see later in
Dude,
my
if they go to the
predictions.
Super Bowl at 8-9. Oh my gosh.
Hey, it's that type of NFL season. We do not know who wins this year. I have no clear idea who wins this year. So
This is a
anything can
really
happen.
fun year. Yeah, this is
It
a big
is.
toss up this year.
It is because there's
I
like free. Say what we're gonna say.
No, I'm gonna bring it up later because I was about to say my Super Bowl pick, but I kind of want to wait till that.
Okay. Because the thing is, this year we don't have no Holmes, you have no Brady, you have no Manning, or like any like Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Your only quarterback you have is Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen. Those are the two bona fide guaranteed to be Hall of Famers in this whole thing. So, and that's on the AFC. And Aaron Rodgers is old, and Josh Allen's team is probably one of the worst he's ever had. Um, I don't even know. I mean, it's a very open race now. But enough of that game, pretty much of this first, of that 30-30. Let's talk about the night game. A division matchup. They split the series 1-1, but I do not count that second game because it was a practice squad game because everyone was hurt for the Packers. You got Chicago versus Green Bay. Green Bay going in Chicago. Give me the damn Packers pulling the shocking world of the upset. I think Green Bay, they have everyone healthy. They're coming off like with the loss against Minnesota. I know they bench are starters. And this is Matt LaFleur is playing for his job right now. Because if he
Mhm.
loses this game, he's fired. There's too many hot names right now in the coaching cycle. You have Mike McDaniels, you have John Harbaugh, and you have Kevin Shagansky. Too many hot coaches right now. If you're gonna fire a coach, like a good coach, do it now. Because with those three coaches, I think you can work perfectly with your offense, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on the Packers here. The reason is because, like you were saying a couple weeks ago, when you have a team like the LA Rams or even the Seattle Seahawks going in the green or going into Chicago and that frigid weather,
Yeah.
these teams aren't used to that, especially with the LA teams. They're used to just sunny weather, maybe middle of the 50s at the lowest.
Yeah.
But you have a team like the Green Bay Packers, used to also frigid environments, and these are just a heated rivalry. And again, like you said, they are pretty healthy this time.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you have Roma Dunze coming back for the Bears, so I really like that for Caleb Williams, but I have to go with the Packers in this one because
I,
I just feel like Caleb's not ready to take that step yet.
I don't either. I think this game, like, don't get me wrong, a phenomenal year going 11-6. The team looked good. And another thing is, Dave Orlovsky said this a couple days ago, or like yesterday. Tell me one thing of the defense that the Chicago Bears do good minus turnovers.
Nothing. There's nothing
Nothing.
there.
Nothing. They don't have a star edge rusher. They don't have a star linebacker.
Mm-mm.
They don't have a
Mm-mm.
Jalen Johnson. Okay, you could say he's a great corner, but he's not been like
Yep.
that type of guy. It's been Deshaun Wright, if anything, and Kevin Byard and Berserk. Jalen Johnson's been having a mediocre year, not his best year. Um, with
Yeah.
that, but
No,
it's
I completely agree with that. And the thing about Chicago is, like I said, they're not ready to take that next step. Going into the offseason, potentially see Max Crosby coming into Chicago if they trade for him. I feel like Chicago is going to take this game as a kind of the Ben Johnson experiment worked. We have the coach of the future, have our quarterback of the future, Caleb Williams top 5 in MVP voting right now, I believe,
mhm.
or in like odds. And, their defense, great at turnovers, but they need to get someone who's like a Max Crosby who can change games for you guys.
And that's what they needed, because you look at 2018, that when they went 12-4, lost to the Eagles, of course, in that first round with the third seed, because the double doink, they had Khalil Mack. That was their game wrecker. They need a game wrecker. You could have got Michael Parsons, but Michael Parsons got traded to the Packers. Myles Garrett's not going to leave Cleveland, so Max Crosby might be your best bet if you want a game changer on that edge rusher. And that would be that is the thing, is Ryan Poles, he's aggressive. He will get the players that he needs to put this team in a position to win, because he got the offensive line all last year, got drafted the best players like Luke DeBurden, got your tight end of the future pretty much. You got key players, and you got Magungai in the seventh round, and he's been phenomenal with that combination with Swift. So they're more built for the future. But I look at this Packers team, I know they're depleted. Losing Michael Parsons does suck, but we forget about Jeff Hafley, or like the coach, if I'm correct, is his name. He's a great defensive corner. He has a chance to get a head coach job in this cycle, maybe, but or go somewhere else. I don't know. But that defense is still good when they're healthy, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I feel like a trade with the Raiders would be beneficial for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears are really ready to kind of explode into become the kings of the North. And,
Mm-hmm.
the Raiders need maybe a receiver for their quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. So I really see DJ Moore getting traded to the Raiders.
I like
Could
that.
see that package. Because they have Luther
That's
Burden emerging too.
and that Luther Burden breakout game, like that Niners game, showed you the potential, what he had.
Yep.
Like, he could be a number two. Like DJ Moore, DJ Moore he was never a big fan of Caleb Williams. But don't get me wrong, he has had his moments this year, but he has moments that look terrible. That Packers game, the first matchup, he sucked. He only had he had no catches and 0.6 points on fantasy. So I almost won my fantasy game because of that shit. So yeah. So that's the thing. And the Packers, if they win this game, when they win this game, this kind of builds the narrative. Okay, Matt keep his job. Jordan Love gets a shot at play Seattle on the road, because guaranteed you're going to play now the first seed now. That sets up that matchup.
Yep.
And they'll be the second team to beat, the second seed. They're the only team to beat the second seed, being the Cowboys in Chicago. It'd be kind of funny.
You got some PTSD saying that.
Yeah, I know. You cry every night thinking about that.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm praying Chicago joins us as like the other team, because I hope we're not known as the only team to lose as a second seed. So I hope Chicago joins us in that category.
It just feels like too good to be true too. Like Packers beating the Bears, who are the 2 seed. It's like I feel like it's written in the script.
It is
so obvious, in my opinion.
And you look at the first matchups with these teams. I know the first matchup with when they were in Green Bay, Caleb Williams got really good in that second half. The defenses didn't know how to do. But and then the next game, it was the same similarity. But Malik Willis played phenomenal, but Jordan Love didn't play that game. I want to see if Jordan Love can win on the road against Chicago. Pretty much, he's done it before in the past couple years. But these games have been tight. Like in the Caleb Williams and Jordan Love era, every single game has been the closest it's been. Like, the first matchup was in Chicago, came down to a game-winning field goal, but it got blocked. And the second time, the end of the year when it was Week 18, Packers needed this win to get probably the 6th seed, but they lost because Chicago could get game-winning field goal against them. And then this year, came down last seconds to a interception by Caleb Williams through to Nixon. And then this year, overtime to DJ Moore hitting that, Caleb Williams hitting that 50-yard touchdown overtime. These games have been
just crazy.
It's been a tight era, and I got to say. So it's going to be a phenomenal game. It's going to be a crucial game. But give me the Packers hitting a game-winning field goal on Soldier Field. Give me that.
No double doink.
No double doink. That's only a Bears thing.
Imagine they had a double doink. That'd be hilarious.
That's just curse. That just means it's curse. Enough of the Saturday games. So Sunday now. We have Jacksonville versus Buffalo, a rematch of this playoff game in 2017 when you had Saxville and then you had Nathan Peterman in that game, pretty much. Or Tyler Taylor got hurt. I don't even know that game. It was a 10-3 game, defensive battle. Um, I think this is the worst matchup if you're a third seed because you got Josh Allen coming into your house. Don't get me wrong, that Jags defense can get to your quarterback. Naming Josh Allen, the other side, or Josh Hines Allen, he can do also great things on the defense side. Devin Lloyd, their linebacker, he's been phenomenal. The secondary of Jordan Lewis in the slot, he's been really good. Everything's coming together with that defensive side, if I have to say right now. And also Trevon Walker, of course, for first former overall. But I think it's going to be depending on, can T-Law keep it up? Can T-Law keep it up, and can Leon Coleman keep it up with this offense? Because if this offense keeps it up, I think Bills can't do anything on defense. And the Bills have the worst rush defense, and guess what the Jags have? One of the best rushing offense with their duo they have right there. So give me the Jags in this game. I think Buffalo. I don't think Josh Allen can get it done, in my opinion.
Okay. I kind of have to go to the opposite of you right now.
Okay.
Josh Allen's not in the playoffs against Mahomes. There's no Burrow. There's nobody in his way right now.
No Lamar.
This is his year to get his ring. He understands that this is one of his only shots. He's aging up there. How much longer can he be dominant? And he's in a good weather situation this week. If it was in Buffalo, there might be different answers. Or it could be the same because Buffalo's used to that and Jacksonville's not. But Buffalo going from freezing temperatures, East Rutherford, anything in Buffalo too, to Jacksonville, I have to go with the Bills in this one.
Don't get me wrong. I love Josh Allen. This could be his best thing. My dream is Bills go to Super Bowl, but this is the Bills. Every single year they've been cursed by some fucking bullshit. Every single time. We forget this is the Buffalo Bills. They don't when it matters, when it is looking like it's perfect odds, they will somehow choke it because it's just a curse. The Jim Kelly curse of the 4 Super Bowls losing 4 straight. I just like where this Jags offense is doing good. T-Law's playing hot right now. He's looking good. I know the opponents he's played, but 14 touchdowns in the past 3 weeks, has to mean something. And with 0 turnovers. What he did to the Broncos defense was insane. Went into Mile High and dropped 4 touchdowns on that defense himself with Jacoby Myers. I was mind blown. Holy cow. This is the T-Law we expected to coming out of being the next Panamanian John Elway. Can he be that? Because what he's doing with this offense, with getting Jacoby Myers was honestly the smartest move by this GM. Losing Travis Hunter, we kind of found out he's not that type of guy. He's more of an offensive guy. And now Jacoby Myers has been phenomenal in the slot with them, and Brian Thompson is getting better. This has been phenomenal. To the point they extended Jacoby Myers because they love the duo of him and T-Law right now. And I just personally, I like this matchup for the Jags. I don't know how the Bills are going to do against the run. They suck against the run.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, at least. I just think that Josh Allen, he has so much playoff experience right now that I feel like I think he's due for at least a decent run to the Super Bowl.
And we always have those crazy Cinderella runs. We do. And another thing is just, if the Bills lose this game, is Sean gone? Is Sean McDermott gone if he loses this game?
I don't think so. Maybe Joe Brady's gone, but I don't think Sean's gone. Dermot's too good.
He is. He keeps his defense really good, but I just this year, the rush defense has been very... They lose to teams. Look at the Patriots game. I still can't believe they won that game because they had 2 60-yard touchdowns by Henderson in that game. So I was still shocked by that. They still won that game.
We're looking at a team, they might be the 6th seed. It might be the worst team around Josh Allen. The reason why they have the 16 is because the Patriots' schedule was the top 10 picks in the NFL draft this year.
Yeah.
Cakewalk. Maybe the 5 seed, but the 6 seed, I just think the Bills are... I feel like they have a decent kind of situation right now where they're not playing the strongest teams. They're not on the bye.
Yeah.
Like we expect them to be, but I think Josh Allen's due again for a playoff run.
He got to be Superman in this game, I've got to say. He got to be Superman again. He got to find a way to be a hero if he wants to win this game. But give me the Jags in this game, and I think T-Law is going to put a clinic on that defense and throw in the air. If T-Law chokes this game and looks like damn Sam Darnold last year, I'm going to be pissed off because like I really have high praise in Trevor Lawrence though. Well, enough of that game though. Let's go to the 3:30 game. We're going to Philadelphia now. San Fran versus Philadelphia. You started off because I still got some thoughts about this game. I don't. It's very.
This is a pretty interesting one.
It is.
I like the Eagles in this one, actually, though. Home field advantage. You know, they really haven't utilized Saquon Barkley this year, and I feel like he's due for kind of a big, heavy workload, and I feel like they've been working towards that this season. You know, they don't want him to get injured, so what do you do in this game? You go the complete opposite of what you've been doing all season. Kind of throw the 49ers into a direction where they don't know what they're going to have to do and kind of understand that they might have to go to how teams contained maybe Saquon Barkley last year. I don't think they can get it through the air, the Eagles. And the thing about the 49ers is they looked really sloppy during that Seahawks game for the division. And I think that kind of screwed them in a situation where, you know, Brock Purdy, I think he's averaging an interception per game or a little over that. And, you know, if you put that within the situation of Philadelphia and those fans going nuts every second of the game, I think the Eagles can ride with that momentum.
I'm also going to take the Eagles. I hate the Eagles with passion, but I think the Niners. I mean, I hate both these teams. I hate this. I hate the Niners. I hate Eagles. But give me Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia likes this matchup more than anything. I think this is the matchup they preferred. Of all the teams they wanted to play, I think they wanted this matchup because you see what Brock Purdy was against that defense against the Seattle Seahawks. He forced the turnovers. He cost the team. They were in the red zone twice. They couldn't get a single point. They got 3 points in that game, and they still lost. Like the defense did great. Like Robert Saul, he's been phenomenal. He deserves another head coach, like a head coach position in this cycle if he doesn't leave. But this is going to be the defense battle, and which quarterback is going to sell? Which game manager is going to be the crucial? And I think Brock Purdy is going to be the seller. Like I love CMC. CMC has been phenomenal. Leader in the receiving, leader in the rushing. He's been insane this year. But he a total of 17 touchdowns this year, a total of 2,000 yards from scrimmage, and 100 yards catching. Okay, if I'm the Eagles, you got to take CMC away. Does that mean Kittle's going to go off? Maybe. Maybe that means Kittle or Ricky's going to go off, but you got to limit CMC's ability to make plays right now because what CMC's doing this year is unbelievable. He honestly has an MVP chance, in my opinion, but I know it's a quarterback award. But this man has been so phenomenal this year. One of his best years, in my opinion, at age 28, 29. And for the Eagles, I mean, their defense has been phenomenal. Vic Fangio has been looking good. When is this offense going to be clinic? When is this offense going to scream, holy cow, I'm back again? Like since the Minnesota game, that was the only compliment I'll give him that, is when the offense looked phenomenal, when Jalen Hurts looked good. Yep. That Bills game, they didn't even look good. They scored 13 points and said, all right, we're done. That's enough. Defense, save us. To a point that Josh Allen sold by a miscue throw by him, underthrowing or overthrowing Shakir in the back of the end zone for the 2-point conversion. So, very miscued by that, if anything. And if I got to say what you said with that, I think Saquon has to have a big game. I think if they want to win this game, Saquon has to be the leading horse for this game. And it's going to be tough. I mean, both these defenses are really good, but I think Philadelphia should get it done today or tomorrow or 2 days.
Yep.
Enough of that game, pretty much, of the Philadelphia one. New England versus the Chargers. I just like, with New England, they have beat everyone. They beat the shits. They beat the Dukies. Their best win is their best win is a winning record is the Bills. That is it. Lamar Jackson's 8-9 below thing. Baker's 7-10. Or no, 8-9. Only winning record is the Bills. Now you're playing a Chargers team. Don't get me wrong, they're all hurt. The Chargers look depleted. They're not. I just don't know with the Chargers because their defense is solid. I'll give him that. What they've done with Jesse this year, Midturn, has been really solid. With Khalil Mack, Derwin James is having a phenomenal year. The secondary Hart, the other edge rusher, I forget his name. They also have another edge rusher, Tutin. I don't even know how his name. Tubeloto, something, 13 sacks this year. Okay, and then Henley's been really good this year, and then the trio of the receivers with Keenan Allen, Ladd, and Quentin Johnson have been really good. And the run game of Hampton and Vidal has been really good. Okay, I don't want in my mind I want to sign with the Chargers, but this is a 2 seed, and the Patriots don't lose. Like this is the Patriot way. The Patriots are back in the playoffs. I think Drake May is gonna have a phenomenal game, and he's gonna expose that defense. And I think he's gonna be one of his best games. I think we'll see in recent memories, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, going into this matchup, these two quarterbacks have a lot to lose. Justin Herbert has kind of been the if prophecy for like 5 years now.
Yeah.
And it's like, Drake May, you have the schedule. The schedule's been complete cakewalk. They haven't really faced any major like games other than maybe those 2 Bills games. And I'm not sure they're 100% sure of their full schedule, but we'll sprinkle in some games. But this team lost to the Raiders week 1.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that's week 1. I have to go with the Patriots because this isn't Gillette, and I don't think Justin Herbert's a playoff quarterback. He's a regular season guy. He can get it done in the regular season. He can get your team to the playoffs, but he cannot win a division title to save his life, and he cannot win a playoff game.
I'm going to say he reminds me of Alex Smith.
Wow.
I think he is Alex Smith. And don't get me wrong, Alex Smith won a couple good playoff games in his career. I think he had like 2, if I'm correct, he had 2 playoff wins in his career.
Might be something like that.
2 and 5. 2 and 5 in the playoffs. So, and you look at it, those great teams he had, San Fran, phenomenal team. The Chiefs teams was phenomenal. I just get the vibes of Justin Herbert as Alex Smith. Not player-wise, but I think career-wise. I'm not going to say Phillip Rivers because Phillip Rivers, I mean, that guy had a phenomenal team. I mean, look at that. Like, Antonio Gates, Lana Thompson. I mean, that man had a phenomenal just overall team, in my opinion. They were the 1 seed at one point, and they lost first round. So, they were great. So, I don't know where to put Justin Herbert in. I think he is that definition of Alex Smith. He has those great years, but he's a regular season merchant, if anything.
Yeah, and both these quarterbacks have a lot riding on their legacy, and you can compare him to Alex Smith. I like to compare him to Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's been able to win some division titles, and this is one of the easier years for Justin Herbert. You have a struggling Chiefs team, but then the Broncos emerge out of nowhere, and you can give or take. They've been frauds, and I completely agree. But I don't know if Justin Herbert can get it done. He might be Andy Dalton now.
Andy Dalton, that's a crazy take too. That's worse. That's honestly worse than mine. I'm like, holy fuck.
Shout out Andy Dalton though. I met him during the summer. He's a cool guy. Really cool guy.
Yeah, it's from Fort Worth, from TCU, from Texas. Backup for Carolina now too, if I'm correct. So yeah.
Yep.
I mean, if New England wins this game, Mike Vrabel keeps his stat, pretty much won a playoff, has made the playoffs every single time. He's a winning record, or first years. I think the big factor in this game is Drake May's ability to win on the one-on-one catches with Stephon Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs is going to be a phenomenal game this game. And in Henderson, I think that run game is going to be really good with him. I think Justin Herbert is going to get exposed because he has the weapons. He can't say he has no weapons. You can't say because that Texans first matchup, he had no weapons. It was just Ladd McConkey. He has everyone now. So if he doesn't win this game, what is the excuse for Chargers fans? Health? Is that going to say health? Or we just say the whole O-line was depleted this year? I mean, the whole team is banged up. Look at the Niners. They made the playoffs. I'm just waiting for what's the next excuse for Justin Herbert. Because he has so many excuses every single year. You know that? Every single time we make an excuse for him.
Well, if they're healthy, he'll be better. Come on now. We cannot be saying if. Justin Herbert every time. We got to stop giving the benefit of the doubt to him, too.
No.
I feel like people got to be more harsh.
We do. Because we're so harsh on quarterbacks like Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, or when quarterbacks make a mistake, like Josh Allen, or Lamar Jackson specifically. We always bash Lamar Jackson. So I
haven't seen much of bashing either. Yeah, for Justin Herbert.
We don't bash Justin Herbert. We give him the ifs. We say if he had that, if the defense didn't choke. In that one year when they choked the playoff game, they blame it on the coach, Brandon Staley. They said it was the coach's fault, not Justin Herbert. Mind you, they were up 27-3. 27-3 at one point in that game, and they choked that.
It was 27-0, I think, actually.
Was it 27-0? I don't even know. That game was... I remember sitting on... I was at Chili's, sitting on, watching the game. I said, Dad, I'm going to make a bet. I want to make a bet. He's like, we're not even old enough. I'm like, fuck. So, because I had a feeling the Jags were going to win that game somehow. I'm like, there's no way the Jags lose this game. There's no way. There's some way somehow they're going to do it. And they choked that game, and I'm like, holy cow. Ended up kicking that game-winning field goal. And Justin Herbert had 3 turnovers in that game, and they still won.
Yeah, and Justin Herbert's playoff games, I think he has combined like 7 turnovers and like maybe 1 touchdown.
That Texans game was bad too. So
You can't rely. You can't rely. Yeah, dude, he had like 3 interceptions going like into that game all season. Throws 4.
Mhm.
I don't know if he's a playoff guy, especially on the road too.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, they play on the road already in their stadium, so like it doesn't matter. Yeah. So enough of our predictions of this round, pretty much. So let's go with the.
We got one more game.
Is that all? Oh yes, we do. We do have one more game. Pittsburgh versus Houston. This matchup is going to decide CJ Stroud's career. Can CJ Stroud show up when it matters? Because I trust that defense for the Texans. I do. I mean, yeah, I do trust the Texans defense. I mean, they're sacking the quarterback. I mean, they have 2 edge rushers have 10 plus sacks this year with Hunter and I believe, Will Anderson. So
Will Anderson, yep.
And their secondary, I mean, they're first in turnovers right and left, and just get into the quarterback. I don't know how Aaron Rodgers is going to handle that pressure. I know he's a veteran, but it's up to speed. I mean, that Ravens defense, I mean, he looked good in that 4th quarter. I'll give you that. Aaron Rodgers drove down the field, got a couple good touchdowns, looked good. In the first half, he didn't look good, but in the second half, it was clinic. It's just the CJ Stroud I need him to complete a full game this year. It is time to complete a full game. I don't care. I'm tired of the 1 half or the second half. I need 2 halves from him in this game. If you give me 2 halves, the Texans win this game, and no matter what. But if he has 1 good half, the Steelers will dominate this game from start to finish.
Who do you have in this game?
I'm trusting the Texans defense. I think the Texans defense is going to carry this guy. That's why.
Yeah. Okay. I've been saying the Texans are extremely hot. I've been saying the Texans defense is the best in the NFL, and I've said Texans are going to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one.
Okay.
I think Aaron Rodgers can get it done. I think this is his last hurrah. I think the team realizes that, and I think the Steelers defense steps it up, especially TJ Watt has been underwhelming this year.
Hey, he got
you can't.
He got a pick last game.
He did get a pick. I think he's riding on that kind of aggressiveness to where it's like, there's always been a debate, TJ Watt or Myles Garrett. Mm-hmm. Myles Garrett just took a mile ahead. TJ Watt's like, I got to get my legacy back up. I think TJ Watt has a legacy game this game. I think Aaron Rodgers also has a legacy game this game. It was always the Jets who were the problem. Aaron Rodgers was not the problem. Give me the Steelers in this one, especially in the home field. Mike Tomlin's job is riding on the line in this one. And, this is Pittsburgh's first home playoff game in years.
Since the
COVID. Yeah, so they won the division that year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they can get it done. This could be their first playoff win in like 10 years. I think they do it.
And the thing is, what we saw in that second half, Aaron Rodgers started putting on a clinic. And guess who's back this week? DK. DK's back in this week. I want to see how these teams are going to do. I want to see how the Texans, comment on how they're going to cover DK. I mean, you double team DK, but that means Pat's going to be really good. Calvin Austin had a phenomenal game, breakout game for him. And Warren, I mean, Warren's a workhorse, man. That man literally hurts every single player. Every player has CTE after that. Man lowers his head and just tackles. I mean, he just rushes for after contact. He's one of the best running backs after contact in this year. So, I mean, it's going to be tough. I really just – the thing about the Texans, my concern is going to be CJ. I'm so concerned with them. Because if they don't get it done, I think as an organization, it is time to sit. If CJ Stroud cannot win this game, I mean, I know you've been in the playoffs 3 straight years with now in that quarterback, but you have such a talented team. You know what D'Amico's defense has been. It goes up every single year, and this year it is at its all-time best right now. And it's a time to win now position. Because if I think the Texans are my dark horse to go to the Super Bowl, and they somehow do it, it will be insane.
No, it's very possible, and I think it could happen. But I just like the Steelers in this one, especially how they looked towards the end of that game against the Ravens.
They looked good. They did. They looked really good in the end of the game.
A little luck played in, but Aaron Rodgers looked like his old self, especially on those two last drives.
Dude. Yeah, that's the thing. I saw Vince's A Rod. I was like, holy shit. If Vince's A Rod
Dude,
if Vince's A Rod is in this playoffs, he's getting his second ring, if anything.
dude, if the Steelers win this year, I would lose my mind.
10-7. Aaron Rodgers at 42 years old wins his ring with only one receiver in DK. TJ Watt gets his ring. Jalen Ramsey gets a second ring. I mean,
Dude, would there be a debate? Is Aaron Rodgers the most talented quarterback of all time there at that point? Is he better than Brady if he brings
well,
the Steelers to a Super Bowl?
well, the thing about A Rod is we know that everyone will say, and even Tom Brady says he is the best thrower with the ball. Like if you get rid of the stats and everything, A Rod is the best quarterback to ever throw the ball. Like it's beautiful. Like that, he's a gunslinger. Like you see that ball, it's always beautiful. Like he puts in the right spot. Like there's never been a game that I look at Aaron Rodgers and I'm like, holy shit, this guy sucks. I mean, the Jets were just no, I'm sorry, but it was just that year. It was just the Jets. Everyone looks bad on the Jets. But I've never like sat back.
Kicking
And,
us
like,
while
okay,
we're down.
I mean, I don't know, and how he's getting his career back up a little bit, like in this season. And if he goes in this crazy run, I think he's dead ass up there as the top five. He's a top five best quarterback ever. Top three.
I think he's top four. Top four.
Top four.
Yeah,
think, he could honestly jump Manning. I think he jumps Manning.
I think he jumps Manning at that point. Yeah, it'll definitely. It will be Tom Brady, Mahomes, Montana, Aaron Rodgers. I think Mahomes is top two all time. I don't care.
3 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs, 3 Super Bowl MVPs. But, I mean, honestly, I agree with that. I think Mahomes, you got to put that. He's a top 5 quarterback ever. Now let's go with these other rounds. Pretty much, this is a long video. This is gonna be a long ass video. Shit. So with these rounds, if our predictions with this, let's see. Okay, so with the 1 seed, we have. Let me just pop this up. My predictor.
Yeah, I gotta do.
I gotta off my playoff predictor so I can.
Playoff selector. Okay.
No, it's not select.
Have
I'll just do it on my phone. Oh wait, no, here it is. Playoff predictor. Yeah, I just go to playoff predictors site pretty much. All right, so nice thing. Okay. All right, let's get this. So Texans, Jags. Packers, Eagles, Rams. All right. All right. So, divisional round. Mine will have New England versus the Jags, Broncos versus Texans in the AFC, Panthers versus Eagles, and Seahawks versus Green Bay. Pretty much. Let's do the Seahawks versus Green Bay matchup pretty much right now because we have that similarities right there.
we have both that? Yeah.
Yeah. So Seattle, the 1 seed, looking great, phenomenal offense. Defense is on its all-time high after being the Niners, carrying this team pretty much. Give me the Packers in this game. If the Packers go in Soldier Field, win that game, I don't trust Sam Darnold in the playoffs yet. I don't. Because the only brief game I have of Sam Darnold right now is of last year's playoff game against the Rams. And I'm so like, And we've seen this story before with him. Hot team, number 1 receiver, great defense, getting carried. I think he's going to force turnovers. I think he's not going to be great. I know Seattle's one of the toughest places to play in, and it's been forever since we've seen a Seattle home playoff game. We haven't seen a Seattle home playoff game, like with a crowd because it was 2020, it was COVID year. Since Legion of Boom, if I'm correct, we haven't seen a home playoff crowd since Legion of Boom. So that stadium's gonna be rocking. I just something about this game. I think Sam Darnold's gonna somehow choke. Something is gonna come up. I think he's gonna force turnovers. Try to be a little sexy with it. He's gonna be trying sexy, like it's my playoff game, trying to show out a little bit. Home crowd. I think the Packers defense is gonna find something to stop JSN and make him make mistakes. Because if Sam Darnold starts to turn over that ball, it starts looking bad, and the defense starts to have to dig him out of the hole, kind of like how I say firefighters, pretty much take out the fire, pretty much. And I don't think they're going to be able to take out the fire. And I think this Packers team is going to do something really clinic. I think the run is going to be really good against that defense. Because I don't know, that run, I can't even say the run because what they did at CMC was unbelievable. The limit of CMC is lowest. It's going to be a defensive battle. It depends what quarterback is going to show up. Because if Jordan Love can, if you give Jordan Love time, I will always say that he's one of the best quarterbacks. But if he's under pressure, he sucks. So I don't know. It's a tough thing. What do you got to say in this game?
A lot of people wrote off Sam Darnold in that LA game. Oh no, the San Francisco game. A lot of people are like, yeah, this is gonna be the same old Sam Darnold. Nobody expects him to go to the first seed. They'll fall into the fifth or sixth seed. I think Sam Darnold's a different quarterback from last year to this year. He has his number one with JSN. You can argue that Jay Jettas is better overall, but I think JSN's had a better season with Sam Darnold this year than Justin Jefferson did with Sam Darnold last year.
Yeah.
I think Lumen Field will be so loud, and the Packers are pretty unhealthy right now to the point where I think it's too good for the Seahawks in this game. I gotta go with Seattle.
Okay. I mean, we'll definitely see it. I mean, this is just like based on our predictions pretty much, but this is going to be the same matchup either way. I mean, it's that crowd is one of the toughest things. That's the thing is that they're the reason why they're called the 12th man of NFL. That is a insane crowd. And then with this matchup, you have the how I say it. Let's just do Pittsburgh with the Broncos matchup, either Texans or Pittsburgh. I think if it's the Texans, if it's the Texans and versus the Broncos, give me the Texans because last time they played each other, it came down to a game-winning field goal in RG. But I know every NFL player says one of the hardest places to play, like playable, is the Broncos Stadium, playing a mile high. That because of the altitude. Playing at altitude is very different than compared to other places because it is one of the hardest places. Because you're in that stadium, it's hard to breathe. That's what people say. Former NFL players, all NFL players say that. So I think that's a big factor in that game. I don't know. I mean, the defense has been really good. My biggest thing is they had also easy schedule, like New England, pretty much. And can Bo Nix show up a little bit in this game? I mean, the Chargers game, he didn't look that good. The Jags game, he didn't look good. So a couple 2 weeks ago has been like, okay, what's going on with y'all? Like, what's y'all looking? And they almost lost to the Chiefs with a backup quarterback, a third-string quarterback. So I don't know what kind of Broncos team we're getting. I don't. Like, I want the Broncos team that destroyed my fucking Cowboys. I want that team. I want to see Cortland Sutton's mossing players. I want to see Nick Momito sacking the quarterback and throwing quarterbacks down. I want to see that. I haven't seen that in a couple weeks.
Yeah, in my matchup, I have the Bills-Broncos. We saw this last year where the Bills just completely dismantled a rookie quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I feel like the Broncos, benefited off of a weak schedule this year and, kind of rode into the first seed in their division because Chargers really obviously couldn't get it done, and the Chiefs really fell off. The thing about the Chiefs right now is that when you have such a talented quarterback, there will be years where you're contending, but you won't be getting high picks. And you'll be paying these players who you think are amazing and really are mediocre and benefiting off of the talent of Mahomes. And when you have that, it kind of just correlates together and it spirals into this team sucks around Mahomes and he needs help. And I feel like Mahomes getting hurt could help the Chiefs in the long run. They're going to be terrible right now, but get some good players in the draft, kind of reload. But going back to the Broncos-Bills, I really like the Bills in this one. And I think Josh Allen can get it done again.
I like
back
any
to the
matchup.
conference championship.
I like any matchup against the Broncos, honestly. I like any team, like the Bills or the Texans or the Steelers. I don't trust the Broncos. What their momentum is not the same. They're riding slow heading into the playoffs. They're not looking stellar right now. So that's my biggest concern with that. Like, it all depends on momentum. Who's the hottest team heading the playoffs, pretty much, in my opinion with that.
Yep.
So now let's go to the other side. The Eagles will be hosting this game. It's either the Rams or the Eagles, and Rams or Panthers in this game, pretty much. The Panthers versus Philadelphia. If the Panthers do win that game, against the Rams. Give me the Panthers again. I'm still riding high with the Panthers. I'm gonna still ride high.
Wow.
I am still riding high. I will still ride high with
Holy.
the Panthers. Yes, I will have the Panthers going to the NFC Championship the first time since 2015 and hosting a playoff game against the Green Bay Packers. I am taking a very radical, like this playoffs is going to be radical because I do not know who wins it this year. So I'm going the logical, like some bullshit's going to happen this playoffs. Something, the most miscues playoffs ever. Like it's how crazy this playoffs is going to be so miscues because I don't expect the top seeds to go out and go to the Super Bowl this year. I don't.
I
Two
think
one seeds are
the
not.
BS part. Yeah, I feel like the BS part could be the 6 seed Bills getting something.
Yeah, the 6 seed Bills, like some way somehow, like the 6 seed Bills give me the vibes of the Aaron Rodgers that year one year when Aaron Rodgers was a 6 seed, went into Philadelphia, won that game, then went on to beat who did they beat next round? I'm trying to remember.
They beat the Bears in the conference. I know that,
Conference.
and I think it was the Patriots. It might have been the Patriots.
No, the other side because they beat the Eagles first round. In the second.
Oh
round,
my gosh, bro! I
yeah,
completely forgot.
yeah.
Oh, I kept thinking of that one year with Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. 2011. Oh, it might have been was it the Giants? No.
Was Falcons? Was it the Falcons? I think it was.
Yeah, it was the Falcons.
Was
It was the 13-3 Falcons, yeah.
was it? Okay, yeah. So beat the Falcons. That's who it was. Okay. That's what this gives me vibes of this Bills team. I sit back and I'm like, okay, maybe this is like that team, if anything. If they go on that run as a 6 seed. And then some miracle, some way, something like that. But minor that, give me the Panthers game. I think Bryce Young, he's played Philadelphia before. I know it's a whole different defense. If it's just building that momentum. It all depends on momentum. Can you build momentum in the playoffs? Can you get those star players right now? And if Bryce Young, if this game will depend on him, and the thing is about the run game. I look at the Chuba Hubbard and Rico kind of a similar like the Bears a little bit, a duo running back. How are they going to perform against another duo running back like that? I don't know how it's going to perform. And maybe Rico and Chuba have a great performance in that game against the Rams and build momentum heading in. And the defense, I trust Derek Brown. I trust J.C. Horn and Morrig in the back end lock down the receivers. So that's a big thing right there also. In Philadelphia, I don't trust Jalen Hurts in these games. I don't. If he does win this game somehow, some way, it'll be on the defense. And the thing is, they take away the run game. The Panthers, they take away the run game. That's a big thing about them. They do not let runners go off on them, as that's what I know. Except it was James Cook. That was the only running back who went off on them. Other than that, I don't think they let anyone go on them, if anything. I'm correct.
Yeah, I have the Rams and the Eagles right now. Wait, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the Rams and the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Rams in this one. I think Matthew Stafford also is on his last hurrah or something, one of his last dominant years. And I believe Devontae Adams will be back by this time or completely healthy. And, these Eagles seems very talented, but I don't really trust the offensive coordinator right now.
No.
He's been terrible this year. If we've seen that, I feel bad for the guy because he's getting his house egged. But man, you have this much talent surrounding you and you barely get 1,000-yard receivers. Saquon Barkley has one of his worst seasons with the Eagles, coming off of one of the most dominant rushers seasons in NFL history.
They're 25th in offense, right? 25th.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. I think the Eagles are just gonna completely implode this game, and I think the Rams will just beat the brakes off of them. So yeah, give me the Rams.
I take any team. I take any of the Rams or the Panthers in this game because I do not trust their matchups with this game. I think if it's the Rams, Sean McVay's going to do it. Sean McVay's going to do phenomenal. He should have beat them last year. Came down the last second.
Yep.
Cup. And then this year, the block field goal by Jordan Davis. That's like a 1 out of 1 million chances of that happening again. So give me the Rams. And you forget the Rams were up big in that game. They're up 19 points and they choked that game. So they're not going to choke again. So either way, give me those two teams, if anything. And this matchup, you got New England versus Pittsburgh, and I got Jags versus New England. Okay? You go first. Because that matchup would be a classic, if anything.
This is one of the more 2010 rivals.
Mm-hmm.
but I have to go with the Patriots. I really like how young they are. And I really like Drake May to go on one of his first runs and kind of silent the doubters about like, oh yeah, I'm benefiting off a schedule. Well, when you put me in a situation where I'm playing teams that are good, you know, we take a lot away from Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
But these games that they've had against these really bad teams, they completely crapped on them basically. And you can't really fault a team for playing teams ahead of them.
You
So
can't. You
yeah, I
can't.
feel like the Patriots can.
You can't fault them for
What
the
were you gonna
schedule.
say?
You can't fault them for
Yeah,
the
you
schedule.
can't. Yeah, I mean that's just their thing. Like, and they've played great in these games. Drake May looks like an MVP candidate in the
Mm-hmm.
second season, and I think Aaron Rodgers getting that one playoff win kind of saved Mike Tomlin's job right now. But
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll go out and won one playoff game and kind of go into the offseason thinking, what do I do next year? Will I come back? Will I retire? But I think the Patriots are the future right now,
Mm-hmm.
especially with a weak AFC this year. So yeah, give me the Patriots to go to the conference championship against the Bills.
That's pretty much a similar of the Chicago Bears and Packers one. Just saying, it's very similar. Um, so this matchup is the New England versus Jags for me. Give me the Jags. Give me Jags beating T Law. T Law beating Drake May in this game. Because if they win against the Bills, I think they can go in New England and win that game. And they want to get their get back since 2017, dude. I think because they're still probably Jags fans are still pissed off about that. They could have went to the Super Bowl that year. They should have. And I look at this Jags like this matchup for them. I really do like how T Law is going to perform this game. He's played Mike Vrabel before in the past with that team. He beat Mike Vrabel before, so he knows how he coaches pretty much the defensive wise. Um, and what Liam Cohen is doing right now with that offense, I mean, I already said it in the previous round of what they're doing if they beat the Bills. I just think this momentum is going to be really good, and I just like the matchups with the receivers and against compared to the corners. I know Christian Gonzalez is a really good corner in this league, but I don't know how the other corner is going to perform with Jacoby Myers if he's not there, and Washington's always also there too. So I don't know how they perform with that. Um, I think it really depends what quarterback makes a mistake in that game. If it's this matchup, is T-Law going to make the mistake, or is it Drake May going to force a turnover and just clutch up pretty much that game? If I had to say so.
Yeah. Who do I have? I have the Bills Patriots. And a lot of people have been looking at like the seeds numbers. The Bills are the 6th seed. I obviously have the Rams as the 5th seed on the other side, but these divisions have just been kind of stacked. You've had a lot of weak divisions like the NFC South who had the Panthers go 8-9, or even the AFC North who has a team that's 10-7, no other teams in the playoffs. But the teams that are like really stacked have been playing each other all year, and I feel like they're so used to each other right now.
Mm-hmm.
And my prediction for this one is I have the Bills going to the Super Bowl over the Patriots. We saw that comeback against them a couple weeks ago, and I feel like the Bills are a pretty hot team right now. Losing to the Eagles is really heartbreaking and kind of maybe put them in a worse situation, but I kind of like the playoff run that they're going to go on. They have the Jaguars first time. Maybe they're not the strongest team. Then they go to the Broncos. I think they'll be completely healthy for this game. And I feel like New England will be in a pretty same scenario as the Chargers and the Patriots, or the Steelers, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Drake May has that much experience compared to Josh Allen, who's been due for one since 2021.
And this will be his third AFC championship too, and it'll be Drake May's first, and New England's first time since 2018 when they won the Super Bowl that year. I mean, I'll also take the Bills in that matchup too if that does happen. And I think the Bills. I mean, like the Bills, like that game. I just hate this is the matchup. Like the Bills and Jags are my two teams, are my Super Bowl picks, but they got to play in the first round, so I'm like fuck. Um, so I mean, I will definitely see it. That'll be a historic story if Josh Allen gets that win because it'll be back in California, his home state, his home stadium, Santa Clara. That would just be poetic, and he has a chance to win his first Super Bowl in his home stadium. Would be honestly poetic right there. But in my game, I have the Jags versus Texans, AFC South battle in this game. To be the Texans' first time making the AFC Championship. The thing is, last time these two individuals played, the Jags also choked the game. It was 29-10 one point in that game, and Davis Mills came back in that game, scored 17 unanswered points, and won that game on the last second touchdown. And this defense, I mean, T-Law has been great against this defense. T-Law knows how to play this defense. He's been his games against this defense, I think, this year. Let me see. Teal, Trevor Lawrence, stats versus. Yeah. Stats versus the Texans.
I think John Morant's about to get traded.
John Morant, we knew that was going to happen. Yeah, so T-Law stats this year against the Texans. I mean, first matchup, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Okay, won that game. I know it was not the best. Second matchup, 210 yards. Am I looking? Oh no! Oh, hold up, that's a way back game. All right, here we go. All right. I mean, first matchup, not the craziest, not a touchdown if anything. 220 though, went the interception, won that game though. To who's the score in that game? I don't know. Yeah, won that game. And the second matchup, I mean, they lost that game with 158. My bad. Maybe he wasn't the best in this game. Maybe I gotta switch it up. Maybe I might have to take the Texans in this game then.
Wow.
I might have to take Texans in this game, honestly, because if their defense is playing red hot in this game, and if CJ Stroud is actually playing 2 halves at this time, they're honestly, I mean, they're in my dark horse Super Bowl. That's what I said. And I think that they play with this momentum heading in and beating these teams, beating the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road, beating the Broncos on the road, and going into Jacksonville, a division rival, split the series already. It could happen. It could honestly happen. And I think the Texans could do it. I think that Will Anderson and Delane Hunter and D'Amico Ryans, I mean, it's been built for a couple years, but there's no Mahomes, there's no Lamar Jackson, the 2 teams that beat you in the playoffs already. They can get it done. Now the NFC side, I have the Panthers-Packers, the weirdest prediction one, I gotta say. I think a lot of this is not unique, but it's mine, of course. I'm gonna say it. Give me the Panthers going on to the Super Bowl as an 8-9 team. Some way, somehow, they'll find a way. And at that point, I think if the Packers are looking good, and some way of that, and Jordan Love is looking good. I mean, it's going to be a clinic game. It's in Carolina, hosting a playoff game again in Charlotte. A playoff environment is going to be tough. And I know the Packers will be moving momentum, beating the 1 seed, beating the 2 seed, looking good, and they'll fall apart. Their Cinderella run will end with the 8-9 Panthers beating them. And I think as Bryce Young's going to have a clinic game, I think Bryce Young, the thing is, they run so much man-to-man, the Packers do. I don't think they would be great. I think T-Mac is going to have a phenomenal game in that environment. And the run defense, I do not know how they're going to perform against that Chuba Hubbard-Rico duo. And then I don't know. And I think at that time, the offensive line should be all healthy. Both teams would be healthy at the time. I don't know. I trust the Panthers, and I trust the Panthers play action better, too. And I think that defense is going to put pressure on Jordan Love.
Not ridiculous. My NFC Championship, another conference game. Like I said before, a lot of teams this year have been just packed into one gauntlet conference, and I think the NFC West is one of those. You had the 49ers, you had the Rams, and you had the Seahawks. I have the Rams and Seahawks meeting in this one. It's at the Seahawks. But I like Matthew Stafford's experience. This is a year where I feel like experience matters the most. A lot of people say like last year, oh, experience matters. And it did. You had Mahomes go back to a Super Bowl. But you also had the Eagles go to the Super Bowl again. And I think that kind of co-rides into this year. And I feel like that's just how the NFL landscape works. Once you have that playoff experience, there's not going to be really any teams that go to the Super Bowl or go on these deep playoff runs in their first instant year. It takes years to build this. And
yeah,
I think the Rams have been kind of reloading since that one Super Bowl. A lot of people thought they were completely screwed. And that 2022 season looked really poor for them. But whoever their wide receiver coach is, insane. Whoever their GM is, great guy, probably.
Fuck them picks.
And he rebuilt that team into a contender in just a snap of a finger. And I have the Rams versus the Bills in the Super Bowl.
If I got to say those are the 2 matchups I would love to see, that if I had to say the Bills versus LA, that's like a logical one. That seems so logical. It should happen like that because, like, you look at the rosters for stand. Josh Allen's the best quarterback in this whole playoffs. in my opinion, been here forever. Matthew Stafford the Rams have one of the best rosters on paper when everyone's healthy. Sean McVay is honestly the best coach in this whole playoffs. I'm gonna say, and that man can similarly beat you from with his play action, with his creative plays from what's it called? Say the motion plays. I mean, he's one of the best coaches like have motion because there's always motion some way somehow in his plays. But with the Super Bowl now, I got the Panthers versus Texans. A very unique matchup. You have CJ Stroud versus Bryce Young, 1 versus 2. Pretty much a debate of like which quarterback is the best quarterback in the draft class ever. And it's a very interesting matchup. At this point, if the Texans defense and CJ Stroud are on the same page, they're winning the Super Bowl. They're winning. And the Texans will win their first Super Bowl. I know I'm as a Cowboys fan, I will hate that, but I think this team is too good. It is too good on paper. DeMeco Ryans has been phenomenal, and it really does. On this playoff run, it does depend on CJ Stroud because you have everything there. You have a number one receiver. You have a defense. Your offensive line is getting better every week throughout the year, so your defense just has to be better. Or defense has to carry this team, if I would say, or CJ Stroud.
I like that. That's a pretty interesting Super Bowl. Right now, I have the Bills and the Rams.
That one's a tough one, I gotta say. That will be tough.
This is a really big toss-up.
It is.
Josh Allen going back to his home state, but the Rams are pretty much home field advantage, I would say. Not really, but it's in California, so give me the Bills. I got Josh Allen getting his first ring. He's got his MVP. He's got all this stuff. He's got all first-team pros. He's got his Madden cover.
He
needs his ring to kind of.
He has his fiance.
Yeah. Shout out Haley Seinfeld. She's bad. We know you're. No, I'm just we're going off topic. We're not damn. Yeah, give me the Bills because I think Josh Allen really needs to kind of make his legacy as not the shadow of Mahomes, even though right now he really is the shadow of Mahomes. And he'll still be the shadow of Mahomes, but when he gets his Super Bowl ring, you can throw him into that conversation as one of the best quarterbacks of, this new generation in the NFL. Definitely. Even though he right now is. But I think right now Lamar might be over him only because of his MVPs. But once Josh Allen gets that ring, I think it's no debate. I think Josh Allen and Mahomes will be the two dominant, like the Peyton Manning and the what's his name, Tom Brady and this generation, and Lamar would be the Drew Brees. So we'll see though.
I mean, Lamar can honestly be our Phillip. What you're saying? Just jokes. I don't know. The thing is, we're still missing the Tom Brady Manning because it's right now Mahomes era. Where's our Manning? Or where's our Ben Roethlisberger? Like, where's those two quarterbacks? The Joe Flacco, random quarterback. We need that type of quarterback right now.
I think Joe Flacco is still Joe Flacco.
Nah, honestly, Jalen Hurts is Joe Flacco. I'm saying it right now.
Okay, yeah.
Jalen Hurts is the Joe Flacco right now.
Ben Roethlisberger. I feel like Josh Allen's Ben Roethlisberger right now.
Get 2 Super Bowls. Get his 2. I mean, that would be insane. And then we need our Drew Brees with his 1. I think that was Joe Burrow, honestly. I think Joe Burrow was our Drew Brees. Just didn't win the Super Bowl.
Dude, he was so close.
I know. And then who would be our?
Who would be our Mike Vick? Lamar. Just a running guy.
Just a running guy. Well,
who's our Cam Newton? Is Cam Newton Josh Allen?
No.
I mean, 1 MVP. Is it crazy to say that? Is it crazy to say that?
I think our Cam Newton is not even here yet. I don't even think our Cam Newton is here. I think we still got to wait.
Dante Moore. Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza could be Cam Newton, honestly. Dude, he's huge.
No. Tall ass quarterback, but he runs so. He doesn't even run. He's just a tall giraffe when he runs that ball.
He's low-key fat. Yeah, he is a giraffe, though.
Yeah, I know. But this is our predictions for the playoffs, pretty much, of the first round. So if you get to this point, those are just with the predictions of the whole playoffs. But thank y'all for joining this episode of Donate Sports. Like and subscribe, and I hope for great playoffs. We'll do the breakdowns on Tuesday. Tuesday or Wednesday we'll do the whole breakdowns of the second round, and it's the playoffs pretty much. But thank y'all for joining us for this episode.